are still going through the fight. That's what this program is all about. So it's not a sad program, it's an upbeat program. I expect all y'all out in the audience to be cheerleaders. All right, so we want to cheer these ladies on, whoever they are. We have to help our sisters and brothers in this fight. And faith and prayer will get them through. And you'll hear that from one of our survivors who's here. Talk about how God helped her get through. So without any further ado, I'm going to have Miss Shirley Wilson. She's one of our volunteers over at Hope Restored Mission and the clinic, and she's going to come up and give us our welcome. I'm so glad to see all of my volunteers here that's helped out. You know, all I had to say was, I need, and they said, well, what? And so here they are, and I appreciate them. Would y'all give them a hand for being here, our volunteers? Thank you so much. Ms. Shirley.
Well, yes, Callie talked me into this. She's very persuasive. And I'm also a nurse like Callie, and so this is of real interest to me as well. And I want to say welcome to all our sisters and brothers here today, and welcome to the annual Breast and Ovarian Cancer Awareness Program, and presented by Avenue F Church of Christ Health Ministry. And obviously we couldn't have it last year because of COVID, but we are still in the battle of raising awareness to the diseases that plague our lives. We have a great program today for all of us, and so be ready to be, as Callie said, to be cheerleaders, because we're asking the entire audience to participate. We are warriors in this battle against breast and ovarian cancer, so get ready to listen. We have a great program, a great speaker who will lead us into the battle. And now for some housekeeping items, okay? The building is still under construction, so be careful where you walk. We will only use the restrooms in the front lobby where you came in and registered. And the breakfast, snacks and drinks are in the room to the left if you go through that door over there. And so help yourself to those, and take advantage of the coffee and snacks, okay? Healthy snacks, of course. And just that's it, really. Just thank you so much for coming. And I'm sure we will all enjoy this awareness program. Thank you.
Some of our young ladies are here, and they're going to help with the cheerleading part, because we are just so excited to be able to bring this information about ovarian and breast cancer. If you look at our signs and pictures and things around, it tells you, you know, a lot of information about what we're talking about here today. So I guess we'll let our little old ladies get finished eating in there. Oh, are they here? Okay, Miss Phoebe's got, or Miss Nini's got them. So and thank you, Shirley, for that welcome. And we'll turn it over to our cheerleaders. But remember, all of y'all cheerleaders too, so when they tell y'all say something, y'all got to say it loud and clear. Hope, faith. You know, when they tell y'all, say it loud and clear. Faith, that's all.
Yeah. All right. When I say hope, you say faith. Hope. Faith. Hope. Faith. When I say hope, you say faith. Hope. Faith. Hope. Faith. Woo! Thank y'all for coming. We're going to celebrate today all of our many survivors. gonna get this party started. So let's go. Good morning, ladies. My name is Sandra McFarland. I am here to introduce our speaker for the morning. But first of all, I want to just give you ladies a brief moment if you want to go and get some coffee or something at this time, to go ahead and do that now before we start with the speaker. I heard a yes. So we're going to take a brief moment before our speaker comes up to allow anyone to go and get some coffee or snacks. I'll be back in 5 minutes.
As you see, we're very informal, y'all, so just do it. Get in where you fit in. I've got some models back there on the table, some breast models. So if y'all want to go back and do some little investigating on there, see if y'all can pick out where the nodules are on those breast models that's back there on the table. Okay? Okay, everybody, we're going to get ready for our prayer. So, if you're still eating something, that's okay. Or if you're still drinking something, that's fine. Just go ahead. We'll go ahead with our prayer. Miss Stevie Powers.
Good morning, everyone. All right, so let us, reset and start off with a word of prayer before we get into our speaker for the morning. So if you don't mind, just bowing your heads with me. Father God, thank you so much for bringing us all here this morning to learn more about breast cancer and ovarian cancer awareness. We pray that the information be fruitful, we pray that it be beneficial, and we pray that it helps us to perhaps help ourselves or those in our lives. Thank you for the fellowship that can come from us meeting this morning, and we just pray that you be with us in health, in sound mind, and sound body. Thank you for all you do and continue to do for us in our lives. Amen.
Everyone back in from taking a quick break. 5 minutes turned into 10 minutes, but that's okay. All right, so again, my name is Sandra McFarland. I am here to introduce our speaker for today. Our speaker for today is Sue Wortham. Sue has been a nurse for 39 years. She's been an, yes, that is worthy of cheering, yes. She has been an oncology nurse for 30 of those 39 years. So we did not bring anyone with no experience. We brought someone with a lot of experience to speak with us this morning. Sue has, she grew up and lives in Richardson, Texas. She has been with her husband, Brian, for 40 years. Woo! They have 3 kids, and they're all married, and she is elated to have her first grandbaby, who was just born this past week. Yes, girl power. So just to talk a little bit about Sue's experience, she currently works for Baylor Health. No, I'm sorry. She worked for Baylor Health for 34 years. She currently works for Texas Health, and she's been with Texas Health for 5 years. She navigates breast cancer patients when they're first diagnosed, but mainly treat breast cancer patients during their complications, when they come in with severe complications. So we are excited to have Sue here. I asked her, I said, well, how did you find out about this program? And she said, Sister Callie called. Sister Callie called and asked for a breast navigator, and that's how they connected. So I'm so glad that Sister Callie made that effort and got you here for us today. And Ms. Sue also says she's excited to talk to us today because to an African American group, because it's much needed, and she's going to share with us why, but more importantly, during this Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So at this time, let's all give a big old cheer for Sue as she comes up to speak for us.
Hello, nice to be here. I just had my knee replaced 2.5 weeks ago, so a little wobbly. I saw the steps and I was like, oh, somebody's got to help me up here. I'm so happy to be here. Lots to talk about. And I'm looking up at my slides. We're Emerson. We're going to start. So we're going to start with our learning objectives. Next one. And really, breast cancer detection. How would you know? And what you can do to decrease the risk of breast cancer. And also, I want to talk about breast cancer in the African American community, because it's so very important. And you'll see when I give you the statistics just why it's so very important. You know what? I don't know why I'm trying to talk with this on. Good grief. Hi, you guys. I was like, felt like I was echoing back at myself. So, most women who develop breast cancer have no family history. 1 in 8 women will develop breast cancer in their lifetime. So we can look around at each other and think, okay, 1 in 8. So that's a really small percent. The good news is, though, survival is at all-time high, and breast cancer is not a death sentence anymore. So it's amazing what they're doing now. So I'm going to tell you guys about that. And what is the real enemy? The real enemy is late detection. And unfortunately, since the pandemic, we've seen so many women come in, and oh my gosh, you guys, like I can think of 5 women in the past 2 months. They're I'm going into detail, but really, truly, it's like, why didn't you come early? I know it's a pandemic, but oh my gosh. And those people that the lumps open up, and one woman hid it from her husband, and he's like, I didn't know this was going on. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I think during the pandemic, women are always afraid to come in, but I think during the pandemic, all of us were afraid. We didn't know what we know now. So late detection is really our enemy. But the overall survivor rate is greater than 90%, and that increases to 99% if it's at a localized stage. So how do we do that? How do we diagnose it at a localized stage? When I say localized, I mean it hasn't spread anywhere, just local. So I think my slides are different than his, but I think I can go on. Okay. We did 2 different lectures, and I think I sent him the first one, so I'll catch up to you guys. Okay, what can you do? What can you do? You can get screened. You can be familiar with your risk factors, which we'll talk about, and be familiar with your breast. Let's face it, most of us don't really know our breasts. So when I talk about self-breast exam, I'm going to give you guys some handouts, so you don't have to I want to remember what she's talking about. So I have 3 different handouts for you guys, so you can. Oh, awesome! Oh, great. I'm glad. Okay. So now we're going to talk about mammography. Now, almost all insurance plans cover an annual mammogram for age 40 and above. American College of Radiation and American Society of Breast Surgeons recommend yearly screening mammography beginning at age 40. But women who have a higher risk, family history, need to start sooner. And women greater than age 25 should start a formal risk assessment for breast cancer with your general practitioner. You're caught up to me. Okay. Early detection is the key, but how can you do that? How and why can we do that? It means it means the cancer's smaller and easier to treat. The smaller, the better. And, a lot of times, mammography doesn't pick up on everything. So you see patients come in all the time, and I had this lump, but, I just had my mammogram, and they didn't pick up on it, but now I have this, I can feel it now. So, really being aware of your own breast is so important. Early means cancer is less likely to spread outside of your breast. And the 5-year survival for localized breast cancer is greater than 99%, as I said. So how are we going to do this? Well, you get your regular screening mammography and report any abnormalities to your doctor, whether you have a new lump, a rash, nipple discharge, and any changes in the size or shape of your breast, redness or swelling. And also, they did say discharge. Be so self-aware. Clinical breast exam, and some people debate. For a while, we weren't teaching. We thought it was not, it didn't have meaning and purpose to do the breast exam. So for the past maybe 4 years, it was off the plate. So now they're bringing it back to all of us and saying how important it is. Okay. Yes, I did have my mammogram today. Why do you ask? Yes, it's not fun. Does it hurt? Yes, and probably us women. Well, I don't know. My daughter-in-law has very small breasts, and she said it was the worst experience. So I guess no matter what size your breasts are, it's not fun, but it's so worth it, right? It's so worth it. So there's some myths and some facts. So one of the myths is, if I don't have a family history of breast cancer, I don't need to get mammograms because I won't get it. And that's not true at all. Most people don't have family history of of breast cancer. Really, truly, only about 5 to 10% of the women that have breast cancer have family history of breast cancer. It's very small. A fact, people diagnosed with breast cancer have no known family history, and that's true. A myth, mammograms are painful. Well, that can be debatable, but we can get through it, right? The fact is, mammograms are typically described by women as a temporary discomfort. If you have experienced a painful mammogram in the past, notify your mammographer. She will work with you to make it a more comfortable experience. And then there's a big myth that says mammograms cause cancer. And the fact is, mammograms use a very small dose of radiation, and dosing of radiation for screening mammogram is even less. So, this is crazy. Dose of radiation, okay. The dose of radiation for a screening mammogram that a woman would receive from her natural surroundings is over about 7 weeks. So it's not a huge dose of radiation. No insurance, that's a big deal. There are some different foundations here in the Dallas Metroplex. One is the National Breast Cancer Foundation, and they have a huge foundation. They gave us a grant, I'm thinking, about 3 years ago, and we were able to help 52 women have mammograms. So there are different healthcare facilities that have these grants so we can better help people. There's the Bridge Breast Network, which is downtown. They do amazing things. They also have so many programs for uninsured women, and also when women who've had mastectomies, they supply the sleeves, the compression sleeves, for free, as long as you get your doctor to get your prescription. There's a huge Moncrief Cancer Institute. It's in Fort Worth, but it is an amazing place, and they have lots of foundations for women. And Women Rock, that's out here in Sherman, and it's a great organization that will help you if you live in, I think it must be, it's not Denton County. What is Sherman in? Whatever. Grayson County, that's it. I think you'd have to live out that way, but it's good to know that they're out there. And of course, if you live in Dallas County, you have Parkland, and that's a huge blessing. I can't tell you how many women and men come in, and they're uninsured, and they have no way to get care. And if you don't live in Dallas County, you hit a wall. There's lots of foundations, but it is so hard. So all of you, I'll preach insurance because I just see people every single day, and it's a battle to get them care. And unfortunately, sometimes we lose people in the process of trying to get them care. So, it's not all about the money, but a lot of it is. Like, I'm in a big battle right now for a young man with leukemia, and he lives in, not Tarrant, below Tarrant County, so he didn't qualify for their funds. So anyway, just know, it's just, it's going to be insurance time. Again, I think it's November 1st to enroll for Obamacare, so I just preach it. It's so important, no matter how old you are and how healthy. So some risk factors that can be changed. and some risk factors that are modifiable. The ones we can change, of course, are risk factors that they're risk factors that we can change for all different diseases, not just breast cancer. So it's, minimize drinking alcohol, try to keep our weight at a healthy weight, try to be physically active, and also not having children before age 30. That was a big risk factor for breast cancer. And also not breastfeeding, and then birth control gives us a greater risk factor for breast cancer. And then if you've been on hormone replacement therapy, for us older ladies, there usually is a max of 10 years that you should be on this. I've seen doctors leave patients on it for a long, long time, but it really significantly increases our risk of breast cancer. So, it's kind of the same slide. We can reduce our risk. So I talked about a lot of that, but they say, be physically active. So 150 to 300 minutes per week of moderate exercise. So I was trying to calculate that for me. If I did 30 minutes for 7 days a week, I still don't meet it. So I have to increase it to like about 45 minutes, 7 days a week. So that's a lot. That's a big commitment. But so now I have to go stay down to the 150 minutes per week. But that can even be walking to the park or walking to the grocery store, just get out and get some exercise. And that's really interesting, is that breastfeed, if you're able to, that really decreases your risk of breast cancer. Like I just said, I just had my first grandbaby, and my daughter really wants to give up on breastfeeding. I'm trying to really coach her to stay with it for many reasons, for the baby, but also just for some stuff that can come up later in life for her. And of course, maintain a healthy diet, increase fruits and vegetables, and I know you guys all know this, decrease red meat and processed meats, and decrease sugary drinks and processed foods. And that's hard. That takes effort because, we live in such a fast food world, and it's so easy to go grab something, grab a drink, whatever. So I've tried to be heart healthy since August, and so I'm doing okay. Some days I really break it, but breast implants. So do not prevent you from having mammograms. The studies find no link from breast implants to breast cancer, which I thought was really interesting, because you would think that putting something foreign in your body would cause a reaction, but they found no link. They've been studying this for a long, long time. But implants can cause a really strange type of lymphoma, and it's the studies that, so it's the breast implants that are rough. So I know most of you guys have never seen what a breast implant looks like, but most of them are very smooth. But the older ones were more rough, and those are the ones that cause this crazy large cell lymphoma. And sometimes, just so you know, maybe you guys don't have implants, but maybe a friend, a sister. So symptoms you can have a lump or a collection of fluid or swelling or pain near the implant or change in the breast size or shape. I had a really good friend who had implants, and she called me one day and said she was hysterical, and honestly, what was going on with her implant had moved, and she had had history of breast cancer, and this was breast cancer again, but she's doing really well now. But the breast cancer had moved the implant to the side, and it was crazy because she's like, this happened overnight. And I'm like, okay. So just, if you know somebody, they tell you anything like that, they've had implants, that's what's going on. So there's a myth, because people think you cannot have breast cancer because you've had an implant, you've had a mastectomy, and that's not true. You can still have breast cancer. Yeah. So the highest risk are being female, obviously, but men also get breast cancer. So a lot of, you probably all have heard of BRCA. It's a gene mutation, and a lot of the women that are positive for BRCA, the men in her family are as well. So men can get breast cancer. It's rare. I think I've seen 3 people in all these years, 3 men, and I know about, I think, another one, but the same type of symptoms. Of course, a man's body's a little different as far as being able to tell, if that's a true lump. So usually when men have breast cancer, it's more advanced. But as we get older, our breast cancer risk increases. it's probably a mean age of about 62. I thought, oh, I'm 64. So, but it's, as we get older, we're at risk for everything. But, we do see a lot of women, young women, and I see some young, beautiful young women in the audience. We see a lot of women in their late 20s and early 30s with an inflammatory breast cancer. We can talk a little bit about that in a minute. So it's not just older people. It's really anybody could have breast cancer. Sometimes women who, and of course, family history gives you a higher risk, and also women who've had previous radiation treatments, whether you've had lymphoma, colon cancer, whatever kind of cancer you may have had, it gives you a little bit of risk for breast cancer. That being said, a lot of women who receive chemotherapy are at risk for other types of cancer later in life as well. And also, if you reproductive history, and I can't see that whole slide from it. Okay. Brother, okay. Sorry, I have a different slide, so that's why I turned around and went, no, that's not it. Here it is. Okay. Having a first-degree relative, mother, sister, or daughter with breast cancer almost doubles a woman's risk of breast cancer. When women with 2 first-degree relatives are 5 times higher than average to have breast cancer. And women with a father or brother who has had breast cancer have a higher risk of breast cancer as well. So that you always want to tell your doctor that, you have your mom, your aunt, first cousin, because keep an eye out. They can do some genetic testing. Well, they will do if you tell them. They better do some genetic testing to see if you too are at higher risk. A lot we see now is women who have a strong family history come in for preventative mastectomies, knowing that, we had a woman last week, young girl, her aunt and her mom both have breast cancer. And so we did a prophylactic mastectomy. And, that's a lot of surgery to have, but she just said, I don't want to live with the risk, knowing that, any day, I could develop breast cancer. So insurance does pay for that if you have a strong family history. And we'll talk about genetic mutation. So about 5 to 10% of all the breast cancers have this gene mutation. We hear about BRCA1, BRCA2. There's a lot more now that they can diagnose. There's so many different gene mutations. And they're linking a lot of female cancers and breast cancer to colon cancer. It's a gene mutation. So if you also have colon cancer in your family, make sure and tell your doctor that, because we do a lot of genetic testing with that. So as I said, genetic counseling, genetic testing, your general practitioner can order those tests, or he can refer you to somebody to order those tests. Other risks we cannot change. Personal history of ovarian cancer or breast cancer. So we see a lot of women who have a history of breast cancer and they come in to have their ovaries removed because they have a greater risk for ovarian cancer, and vice versa. So race and ethnicity can cause a higher risk for breast cancer. Women who have, big, heavy breasts that are, it increases your risk because they're dense, they're packed tight. So it really, we see much more breast cancer in women that have those types of breasts. And we see a lot of breast biopsies. Well, if you've had a breast biopsy that shows something that's atypical, or we call LCIS, which is really, truly a precancer status. Right now, they do recommend if they find this, they're telling these women to go ahead and get mastectomies or lumpectomies, depending where it is. And then DES, that therapy, that was something that they did from about 1940s to the mid-70s. They gave women who were pregnant this medication to prevent miscarriage. And, now we're seeing all the side effect of this medicine. Incidence rate. So incidence rate is higher in non-Hispanic white women. And then the next group is in African American women. And it goes down, down, and down. And so why do we have these high risks? In African American women, it's so important to do early detection because triple negative breast cancer, which is the breast cancer you don't want to get, it is much higher prevalence in African American population. So it's so important to do this early detection. So now it talks about mortality. And number one in African American population reason for death in women is heart disease, but number two is breast cancer. And that's why I thought, oh, I'm so excited to talk to this population. You guys all look like you're really educated and knowledgeable, but you could take that knowledge to your friend or your family and just say, hey, this is number two for us. You know, we can change that if we just get screening much earlier. And I know, the real thing here is probably access to care, and that's a whole nother talk. And but it is. We really are trying to change it. I know there's people in the community. I don't know what really Miss Kelly does. I got to talk to her afterwards, but I know she's a nurse. But there are really people out there trying to change the racial disparities in the Dallas community and get out there to everybody and make sure everybody has equal access to care. So, I think a lot of that probably is access to care. And comparison, so why, while breast cancer is number two reason for death in African American women, their survival rate is about 83%. And I think it's because we're finding it later. And same thing, not coming in, not getting screened. So let's talk about rationale for lower African American survival rates. Why is it low? Like I said, later diagnosis, characteristics of the tumor. We're seeing more ER negative tumors, and I'm going to talk about that, and more aggressive characteristics. When I said triple negative, there are receptors, and that's what the triple negative is. It's, I'm sure, ER, PR, and HER2. And when somebody is positive, we have newer medications that treat it. Well, when they're negative, it's harder to treat. But honestly, the good news is there's all this immunotherapy that just has been FDA approved in the past 2 years to treat triple negative. And I'm so excited because honestly, about 10 years ago, knowing that it could have been a death sentence, but now you have reason to, not a reason. Now you have a treatment, and that's really important. Well, we all have a treatment. So, and a lot of comorbidities, like we talked about, alcohol. This is just comparison. Comorbidities, in the Hispanic community, they have a higher risk of diabetes and that type of thing, so different comorbidities. And then the demographic factors, uninsured is a major factor in diagnosing breast cancer. So just know too, if your friends or family, and there's places out there in the Dallas community that if they have a concern or they really, they never have had a mammogram, let them know about these places because there are places to help women. If you're high risk, what's next? Discuss with your doctor. They'll have you have increased screening regimen, refer you to a specialist. And like we talked about, risk reduction surgery, what is that? That is when they do prophylactic, preventative mastectomies and risk-reducing medications. There are some medications that they use. So just so you know, if you're high risk, it doesn't mean a death sentence. It means you have to be your own advocate. Why? Why is know your own risks. Am I on the same slide? No. You got back? You're good. Just know your own risk, reduce your risk when you can, and early detection, so important. And I have a handout, and Kelly might have had a handout that tells you all the risks too, so you can look back on it. In conclusion, early detection is the key. Self-breast exams and clinical breast exams. And so clinical breast exams are going to your doctor yearly and having your doctor check your breast. And they change these guidelines all the time. There's nothing set. But they say women 25 and older, this is the latest that I read, should have clinical breast exams. And that was really interesting. They're lowering the rate, the number, the age to do those. So that's your doctor just checking you. Sometimes your doctor can feel things that you can't feel, or sometimes you feel things that are, not cancer. So that's true. If you feel a lump, you feel discomfort, even if you have discharge, it doesn't mean you have breast cancer. It really, really doesn't. But you have to get it looked at. Just so you guys know, cancer is not a death sentence anymore. Like I told you, we have all these new medications. This immunotherapy has changed the course of the cancer patients. It just has changed so many lives. We have so many more, just so you know, for colon cancer. The one that we really still fight is pancreatic cancer. I'm just waiting to see, something. Part of it is because it's diagnosed so late, but also it doesn't respond to many chemotherapies. But breast cancer, it does respond to immunotherapy. So just know you can reduce your risk by doing those things. And this was a silly cartoon that my coworker put into our talk, but there it is. Well, I suppose if you want to post your mammogram results online, that's entirely up to you. You can tell that she is 30-something. I'm gonna put that there. And Angela would go on to start a new meme called Mammograms. So it was funny. I'm like, yeah, that's funny. I'm like, oh, Karen, that is so you. So let's talk a little bit about ovarian cancer. If I have good news, one thing is that in ovarian cancer in African Americans is not a high mortality rate. And it's like, why? We don't know, but they do all the statistics. They're always it's much higher in Caucasian women. And ovarian cancer in general, the rates are much higher. And so the death rates and the rate of disease are much higher. I didn't have a lot, but I did want to just touch on it and just go over the symptoms of ovarian cancer. If you know, because the reason ovarian cancer is deadly is because it's usually caught late. So if anybody ever tells you, my leg is swollen, and that is a symptom of ovarian cancer. So just say, go to your doctor. I know, isn't that interesting? That's a hidden symptom, and that's why it's diagnosed later. A lot of times women will come in and their bellies will be really swollen, and that is a huge sign. Weight loss, all the typical signs of, I think I left my list down there, but weight loss, abdominal pain, abdominal swelling, leg swelling, and women who, it is seen more women mid-60s who still have their ovaries. So women who have had hysterectomies and their ovaries removed, you're not at that risk. But ovarian cancer, it's really important to go to your doctor. If you still have pap smears, if you're still at the age where you still have pap smears, that really detects cervical cancer, but also your doctor can examine you and know if he or she suspects ovarian cancer. So ovarian cancer is not as prevalent in African American communities, but of course, it can still happen. So I thought that was interesting, that breast cancer was higher risk, higher mortality, but lower mortality in ovarian cancer in the African American community. Yeah. Yeah, of course. It's not, but you know what? I can send it to Callie. Which one? The ovarian cancer? No, but I can also send that to Callie too, and she can get that out to you. Absolutely. No, I'm sorry. I didn't think to bring you that information since we're talking, but I'm going to send you some information on genetic factors too, so you know. Oh, my dad had colon cancer. Should I tell my doctor that? So yes, I'll send Callie some information this week. And she can get it out to you guys for sure. Yeah.
A lot of insurances say they don't want to pay for mammograms when you turn 80.
Because that's crazy. I know. There's actually nurses lobbying to change that because of course women over 80 can get breast cancer. What do they think? That we just, we're going to turn 80 and you're never going to have breast cancer? I know. It's crazy. They don't even they don't even say to do self-breast exams over 80. So I mean, the rates really do go down when you're over 80, but of course you can still.
Also, the same thing with colon cancer. They don't want to pay for colonoscopy at age 80 unless there's a problem. If there's
Right.
a problem, it's too late.
Right. Isn't that crazy? I know, that too. And I think they go, you know, insurance is a funny thing, and it goes by statistics, and you have to be your own advocate. But also, a lot of things for colon cancer depend too. If it runs in families, you know, there's so many other things you see at age 80. So that's how they decide, you know, will they pay for these tests, will they not? But you can always have your doctor petition your insurance company to justify why you need it. Colonoscopies are going to change. You know, now, that's a really good point. Now we're seeing 25-year-olds with colon cancer. And, yeah, it's crazy. And all of a sudden, I was like, I said to one of the docs I work with, I said, what's with all these 35-year-olds with colon cancer? He's like, I know. And then a 25-year-old came in with a huge tumor. I'm like, that's not normal. That's not what we've seen historically. And, you know, is it environmental? Is it genetics? They don't know. But they did change the screening. Most insurance will pay for anybody high risk at age 25 and older. Now they've changed the screening. I think it's at age 40. They change those things all the time, and it's hard to keep up with. But they did lower the age to get a colonoscopy. Before, I think it was 50. So now I think it's down to 35. So that's good. It changes. There is. There's a blood test if you have it active. If it's active, your doctor can send this test and see if you have elevated levels. But if you don't have it, then I guess you could say it's negative. You know, a lot of those tests are not covered by insurance, but I think as the next 5 to 10 years, they will be, because the insurance will see it as preventive medicine and realize, you know, if you pay for those tests now, then you're not going to have to pay for their treatment, our treatment later. So, yeah, that's a lesson. I don't know that. For ovarian cancer, if you still have ovaries, I think it is. If you're over mid-60s and age and you have your ovaries, I definitely think you should talk to your doctor. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. I'm excited to hear the survivor. I'm looking at all you guys. I don't know who the survivor is, but I'm really want to hear. So I'm excited to hear your journey. Well, I'll conclude. If there's any other information you might want, just let Ms. Kelly know. I'm happy to email her the latest and the greatest information regarding, I will, pancreatic and colon and ovarian information, so she can get it out to you guys. Any other questions? Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Ovarian cancer information back there, and little pamphlets for that. And then in some of your seats, there's some information on ovarian cancer. It's just a little note. It's not a whole lot of information. But there is some pamphlets back in the back about ovarian cancer. And talking about, you know, Sue, I was an oncology nurse also for almost 40 years, so I saw. Sue said she had seen 3 men who had breast cancer. In my career, I took care of 2 men who had breast cancer. So it's something to talk to the men in your family about. Be sure and talk to them about that, because, you know, it ain't no joke with men. It ain't no joke, period. But men usually have worse symptoms like shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, and things like that. I had something else on my head. Oh, we do have a lot of resources. I mean, that's one reason why we do this program all the time, is so we can get all this information out and get the resources out, because a lot of times the reason we die more from breast cancer and ovarian cancer and any other cancers because we just don't, get ourselves checked. So we need to do that. Early detection is the best protection for any cancer, any disease, anything. So we need to take care of ourselves. Okay, let's see what's next on this. Oh, Miss Nene was going to do some questions, but you want to bring your cheerleaders up here again, Miss Nene? Get your cheerleaders. Come on, cheerleaders. We give them and then our survivor will come up, and she'll give you a little talk about. Let's go, cheerleaders. Let's go.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Hi. This is Tender Touch. I will turn their mourning into joy. I will comfort them and give them gladness for sorrow. Jeremiah 31:13. Sweet Spirit, at the very core of my being, I feel your loving presence, like a gentle breeze on a warm summer day. Your tender touch comforts and soothes me. In the quiet of prayer with you, I explore the recesses of my soul and bring any feeling of sorrow or despair into the light of your presence. Here I release all burdens. I let go of hurts. I let go of worries. I let go of any feeling that will keep me from experiencing your love. As I let go of concerns, your love rushes in to comfort me, assuring me that you care. In your loving presence, God, I am filled with a peace that is beyond compare. Thank you for the comfort of your tender touch. I am comforted and soothed by God's tender touch. Amen.
I guess since I'm 65, you think I can't get up the steps. I can get up the steps. Okay, healing words. The tongue of the wise bring healing, Proverbs 12:18. There is great power in words. At times, it is as if the very cells of my body are listening to what I have to say. I feel the words throughout my body as I say them, and I feel their effort linger in my body long after I have spoken them. So I make a conscious effort to speak words that are messages of healing to my heart and lungs, to my joints and muscles, to my nerves and digestive system. I feel a response as I encourage my heart to beat in perfect rhythm and my lungs to take in oxygen and send it to all areas of my body. My message to and for myself is one of health and healing and has as its source the Spirit of God within me. I bless my body and soul with healing words of life and give thanks for the blessed results. My every word of life and healing blesses my body and my soul.
Okay, we're going to have this Sister Strong come up and tell her story. And we have another sister here at the church who has been cancer-free for the last 5 to 7 years. And she had bone cancer. And she's going to do her story today. She couldn't be with us today. So Sister Strong is going to tell us a little bit about her story.
This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. This is my story and my testimony. I'm from a big family of girls, and we all had big breasts. Big breasts and skinny legs, like Joseph said, but the skinny legs. But anyway, I have been getting a mammogram for as long as I could remember, since I was 40. I got my mammogram every year. And I also had Sister Callie over there to remind me every year from the time I met her, go get your mammogram. So I'll say to all of you ladies, go get your mammogram when it's time to get it. 2019, I went in to get my annual mammogram. Just skipped in, so happy, knowing that I was going to be squeezed, but I was ready for it. And after my mammogram, the nurse came back and she acted a little different this time. She said, Miss Strong, we need to see you again in the other room. And I'm like, as a human being, fear set in. Fear set in, and I thought about the big C. That's all I could see was the big C. But I stopped for a few seconds and prayed to my God. I said to myself, my God is bigger than the big C. My God is bigger than the big C. So I went in, and sure enough, I had cancer. So she said, you didn't feel anything? There wasn't no symptom, no headache? I said, no. She said, well, I see you had a breast reduction. I said, 40 years ago, and I've always had the scar tissue from the breast reduction. So in checking, I would feel the scar tissue, so I never thought of anything. But my cancer was very low behind the scar tissue and very close to my rib cage. So once they pinched me in, as far as they could get me, they found it. And it was in the first stage. The first stage. So I went in and I had surgery the first time. And then she called me again. She said, Miss Strong, the lab showed that we need to go back in again because the tissue showed extra cancer cells in it. So that means that the cancer probably was in other tissue. So I go back in, praying, all my friends praying for me, my husband, my great supporter, and knowing that God was going to see me through it. I went in, and she said, you're so joyful. You don't act like you're worried about nothing. I said, this is not my home. And when it's my time to go away from this world, I have another place that has been prepared for me. So I am not worried. So we went
remember during that time I had a rotator cuff surgery. So I had 3 surgeries in almost 1.5 months. I was sore on the shoulder, sore all through here, and Sister Kylie gave me a pillow, a cancer pillow, some kind of pillow, but that was the best support to put under my arms to help me. But I'm just saying to you ladies, that's my testimony. I've given it so many times to different people, you know, that get your mammogram.
How many years are you out now?
It's been 2 years, going on 2 years. Yeah. I always go in before my birthday. I'll always get my mammogram before my birthday. My birthday was October the 9th. I just turned 74. So God has been good to me. He has blessed me to see these 74 years. And he has given me the knowledge and the strength and the word to encourage other ladies that go get your mammogram. I know you don't think nothing about it, but like Sister Callie say, early detection is the best protection to cure cancer. So ladies, get your mammogram and get it yearly. Mine was in the early stage, so I must have had it between 6 months or less. But now I'm on a pill that's going to block my estrogen. The doctor say it was estrogen that causes my cancer. So now I have to take a estrogen blocker to block the cancer cells from coming back.
How long are you on that now? How many years?
I've been on the blocker for 2 years.
And does he give you a time limit? How many years? I'll just tell you why.
I have to take mine forever. As long as I'm living, I have to take it.
Good. Because we used to do it 5 years. They had all this data, and they thought these women have been on it for 5 years, and they're going to be fine. Well, about 5 years ago, we started seeing tons of women with recurrent, and it's because they recurrent breast cancer, and it's because they stopped the tamoxifen at 5 years. So now, but not every doctor does this. I'm so happy to hear that you're on it and you're doing well.
Well, I didn't have any symptoms from taking it. That was one thing the doctor asked me about, was did I have any symptoms? But thank God I didn't have any symptoms from taking the estrogen blocker. So this is my story and this is my testimony. I hope it encouraged someone to go and get your mammogram done because you can't see what's going on inside your body. The only way we have of finding out stuff is going, getting a mammogram or getting an MRI or getting something. So I'll beg you, get your mammogram. Thank you. We're so thankful that Sister Strong is still here with us. Glad that she'll be here for a lot more years. And so, go get them, ladies. Go get them. Let's see. What was I going to say? I forgot. But anyway, we do have a lot of resources for people. And that's why we need y'all to spread the word. I mean, spread the word. Get your sisters, your mothers, your aunts and uncles, just whoever. Get that information to them. You know, knowledge is power. There's power. And we need to spread this power. We need to spread it all over the world. We've got to strike out this breast cancer, this ovarian cancer, because, you know, it needs to be gone. It needs to be gone now. So just remember, that's the reason why we kept collecting all of these gifts up here, you know, to donate for cancer research. It's all going to auction for cancer research. And we do that every year, Miss Sue. We do that every year. Yeah, lots of gifts, lots of gifts. And so we do that every year to be able to do our part. You know, do our part. We need to do our part in all of this. But we do have reduced cancer clinics that we can send people to who have breast cancer. You know, most of the people we see, they're not going to have all these different resources that Ms. Sue talked about. Some of them do, some of them don't. So we need to make sure that we know the resources and know where to send people. And just encourage them not to wait until it's too late to do anything. Okay? So thank y'all again. We're not finished, but thank y'all again. I just want to recognize our Hope Restored mission. And that's another organization that I volunteer with, Hope Restored. Miss Tammy is the CEO. We thank them for coming. They brought us a couple of little bags y'all saw in the seats and things. Y'all picked those up. Those are the bags that they have some little goodies in. So go ahead and pick those up and take them with you. But if you want to do something to help the homeless, right there is where you need to donate. Hope Restored Mission, because that's another thing that we do. You know, it's people out there that don't have anything. So we need to do what we can to try to help these people. And that's what Tammy's organization does. That's what Miss Cal Martinez, that's another place. Tiana back there is one of our nurses at the clinic, and she helps with Hope Restored, and of course Miss Shirley helps with Hope Restored. They all help with Hope Restored. And we go out and, you know, try to find funds and do things for these people who need help. And so if you ever need a place to donate something, money, y'all can donate. Donate to Sister Tammy over there. She always, and I tell you, she's a slave driver. She really is. She's a slave driver, man. I tell you, she has us going from sun up to sundown. I need you to do this, Miss Cal. I need you to do this, Miss Cal. So this program, this whole program is dedicated to all of those who have gone on before us, who suffer with breast and ovarian cancer. And it's a celebration for all of those who are still in the fight, and an honor for all of those who are still in the fight for breast and ovarian cancer. So we have to keep on fighting. We can't ever quit. We can't ever quit. We have to keep on fighting. Okay? So we're going to take another little break, and remember there's some models, some breast models back there on the table. So if you want to feel a nodule, there's breast models back there on the table. So feel around and see if you can feel where those nodules are. Okay? So take just a few minute break. Anybody want to go and get a snack or something? We've got some heart healthy snacks back there, y'all. So y'all need to take those little, especially the ones in little packages and things. So, yeah. And then after that, we'll have our cheerleaders come up again. Take a few minute break, go to the bathroom or whatever. Then we'll have our cheerleaders come up again, and then we'll have our closing. Because we're taking these balloons outside when we finish, and we're going to all get together and we're going to let these balloons go in the air to show that we support breast and ovarian cancer. So, all right. have people online who's watching, y'all, so if they have any questions, just put your questions in the chat box and we'll get back to you for that. So. going to have to leave us here, so we just wanted to show our appreciation for her coming over and giving us this great information that we can use. So, woo! Let's give Miss Stewart, yeah. All right, cheerleaders, where y'all at? Y'all come on up here now. Come on. Woo, woo, woo. All right.
Come on, y'all. You just stand right here. Evelyn, come here. Here, you can be with her. All right. So we finna end this off with a bang and get on out of here. So this program was to celebrate all of our survivors, the ones we have lost, and the ones currently going through the battle. But we need to keep cheering them on the whole way. So we're gonna break this up by sections, and we're gonna make sure y'all get loud with it. So Evelyn is gonna lead this section, and we're gonna say it. So when she starts, y'all join in. Faith, hope, strength.
Faith, hope, strength. Faith, hope, strength.
All right, good. Now we got this section over here. Now we're trying to see who's gonna be the loudest. Y'all ready? Y'all got it together. Faith, hope, strength, the middle section.
Hope, strength. Hope, strength.
Yeah! All right, good. All right. They're gonna take us out for the section on the end. Faith, hope, and strength.
Faith, hope, and strength. Faith, hope, 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 strength.
All right. Good job. Good job, girls. Come on. You can go to your seat. Good job, girls. Come on.
see. So, Miss Tammy, do you have anything to say? You better take your chance while you got it. Well, we really don't want to get her started talking, but come on, Miss Tammy. You can stand there and say what you got to say. You're always asking for donations and stuff. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for allowing us to be here with you all. We're celebrating life, and that is one of the impacts that we believe in transforming lives at Hope Restored. We help with people with housing, IDs, and job placement. It's not necessarily just homeless. Anybody that are in that capacity that need that or having hard times. But we cannot do it without the support of all. So that's why she say I work her. Because we believe that that's what God has called us to do, to help transform life. We bridge that gap. This is a gap that we're having to be here today because we know that clients that come into us, they have health issues. And when you're dealing with where you're going to stay or do I take care of my health? So it takes both of us, all of us connecting together and praying for each one another to be able to get that person to the holistic approach. We are 100% volunteers, so we are always looking for help. We have no funding, but God is our source. But He used the source through the people. So that's what she said. We're taking donations. We have our fundraising gala on October the 23rd. I hope that Miss Callie has told y'all about that.
Did you bring any of your flyers?
She'll get it out to you. Okay, thank you so very much.
Thank you, Miss Tammy. We really appreciate her, and she's doing all this work, and she's also working on her PhD. Oh, Lord have mercy. So she stay busy, and believe me, she keep us busy. Oh, Lord have mercy. When I got up this morning, her name was the first thing I saw on my phone, telling me, you late. I said, girl, I know I'm late. You can blame that on my little granddaughter down over there. She said, my granny, I'll be up at 7 o'clock. I get up at 7 o'clock every morning. She woke up, but she didn't wake me up, so. Okay, so thank all y'all for being here. We do have a few people online, and we're grateful for y'all being online, and just thank you for being here. And we also want to give a big thanks to our Deacon Powers, who without him, we could have never had this program without Brother Powers. Okay, yeah, Brother Powers. Yeah, Brother Powers. So this is for Brother Powers. One of you young ladies, come up here and give this cake back there and give it to Brother Powers. Oh, don't receive one of those cakes and give it to her dad. Yeah. So just a couple of reminders. The More Than Pink Walk is on the 23rd, so if you haven't signed up for that, go ahead and sign up for it. But, you know, we would really rather for you to give those donations to Hope Restored if you want to. And if you can do both, that's even better. So there's always a great resource and a great cause, but they get big money from big people. So we need all of the money. So whatever y'all can do to help out Hope Restored, we really, really appreciate it. Okay, so let's see what else I have to say. I think that's it. Yeah, so thank all of y'all for coming. Thank you for filling this basket. Like I said, it's gonna go to one of the cancer centers and will be auctioned off to help out cancer research. Cancer research, because that's a big thing in cancer awareness and in breast cancer and over any cancer, any disease, you know, and clinical trials also. Clinical trials. Sister Sandra can talk to you a little bit about clinical trials. That's a big help. So if you get anything in the mail that asks you to do a clinical trial. Remember they did clinical trials on these vaccines. They do clinical trials on all kinds of medication that really, that's the reason, you know, people are living longer with different cancers and different types of diseases and just whatever. So if you have an opportunity to do clinical trials, then go ahead and do that. And look like Miss Claire is back there selling some chocolates, so y'all go on and buy some. All right, so amen. Thank our cheerleaders. They were great. Woo, 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 woo. They were great. So any other questions or comments or whatever before we close? Nothing else? So I'm going to ask Sister Ashley Ross if she'll come up and just lead us in a closing prayer. And thank God for all of the ladies who are going through this and who are still battling through, and just help us to be a support and an encouragement to all of them, to all of us. All right, thank y'all.
All right. Ladies, I have enjoyed being here today with you all. Thank you all so much for joining us and coming, and we hope to see you all soon. And let's bow for a word of prayer. I thank you, Lord, so much for this day that you brought us together today to come together and learn more about ways to take better care of our temple. Please, Lord, help us to listen to the things that we've learned, receive them, and be stewards of the things that you've given us, stewards of our body, and be a resource to those who may not have been here, but help them to learn from us and share the knowledge that we have. Thank you for Sister Callie and her ministry putting this program together. We thank you for all those involved in making today happen. We love you so much. Thank you for all that you've done for us. Please be with us today and forevermore as we leave out, and be with us on our journeys throughout the day and throughout the week coming. We love you so much. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Amen. Amen.